Hello, everybody. This is Apba Brian back with the NFL Pick Show Wild Card Weekend. Are you ready for some playoff football? I'm joined today by my son, Justin Neely, and later Dan Mattingly, my son-in-law. And Justin, you are the winner for the regular season, and I think you're going to be winner overall. You are 166 and 90 for a 65% percentage. I'm 159 and 97 for 62%. 7 games behind, and there's only 13 playoff games. And Dan is 152 and 104, 59%. I think we've all done pretty well.
Yeah.
And I've appreciated your all's analysis and comments through the season. First game up today, Las Vegas at Cincinnati.
All right. This is going to be a very close game, in my opinion. I think Cincinnati's got the big play edge. However, I'm not so sure Cincinnati's defense, particularly their secondary, is up to the task. I think Darren Waller, he's been quiet lately, but I think he's about to shine in a big way in this upcoming game. And I think Jacobs is also going to have a big game. Jacobs has been ramping up lately with his momentum, and I think that continues. Now, I think the Raiders' defense is kind of what this game comes down to. I don't think Joe Burrow is going to have a lot of time to throw. And I think I'm going to get kind of big on some specific predictions as we go through this show. And here's one of them. I think the Raiders defense gets a defensive score. And I think that despite the Cincinnati receiving core, I think the Raiders do just well enough to sneak past the Bengals and upset them here in week 1 of the playoffs.
Well, the motto of the organization is just win, baby, and that's what they've been doing since they played the Chiefs. What a game that was to end the regular season. Monday night, Raiders, Chargers. Just a little review. There was a scenario where if those two teams tied, they both go to the playoffs. And all those things that happened to make that possible did happen. And what a finish to that game. I was thinking that the Raiders did want to try to win the game because I don't think they wanted to come to Kansas City for the first playoff game. They'd rather go to Cincinnati, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But as it turns out, in the coach's comments the next day, was that when they got down there to the end, they ran the ball 2 straight times, and they were playing around a 3rd straight time, then kick a field goal. But the Chargers called timeout, and their thinking at that time changed because they couldn't trust the Chargers. If they missed the field goals, they figured the Chargers would try to win. So that's why I think that timeout killed the Chargers, and they're sitting at home this week because of it. And I think it was a little bit wrong. He would have settled for a tie and eliminated Pittsburgh and sent the Chargers and themselves to the playoffs. The Las Vegas will get a pass rush, but the big playability of Joe Burrow in Cincinnati scares me. Oakland's defense is not the most complex. They do a lot of press coverage, and I think Cincinnati has the receivers to beat that press coverage. I mean, we were right on the receivers when we played them, and they still made catches down the field. So I'm kind of leaning toward Cincinnati because the matchups favor the Bengals. But Las Vegas, they've had a great run in the season. Wouldn't surprise me if they did win. I'm picking Cincinnati. The Bengals beat them 32-13 earlier in the year. I think they'll beat them again first round of the playoffs. All right, let me welcome in Dan Mattingly to the show. He is my son-in-law, and as you know from the past, he works different hours from Justin, so we'll splice his picks in between Justin's and my picks. Dan, we're doing the playoffs. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it. Some interesting matchups.
Very interesting matchup. And the first one we're going to talk about on Saturday, Vegas and Cincinnati is one of those.
Very interesting. That's if the Raiders can get after the passer the way that they did last week, I think that they could give Cincinnati some trouble. And I know that they can run on them. So that's one of the underdogs that I'm really entertaining picking. Burrow and that team are very good. They may have the two best players in the game, other than maybe Max Crosby, who's just on a tear. What have you thought of him?
You know, the Chiefs held him down pretty good when we played, but the other 3 or 4 games I've seen the Raiders play, Crosby was a big influence. Now,
Sure.
he's playing very well at the end of the season, too. And he never gives up. I mean, he just goes after you from start to finish.
Yeah. I expect the Raiders to get a little bit better with Waller every week. I know he only had the 2 catches. I think I'm talking myself into taking the Raiders in this one.
Last time Waller played Cincinnati, I think he had a 100-yard game.
Yeah, no, he's played very well against them and a lot of other teams. And coming off an injury, sometimes it takes a week or two. I'm hoping it only takes a week this time.
That little Renfro guy also, he's like the ghost of, I said that last week, of Fred Biletnikoff.
Yeah,
He
he's
is a
incredible.
nifty little guy.
Yeah, no, his double and triple moves are out of this world. He can get open any play, and he does it quick.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, who did you and Justin take there?
Okay, I took Cincinnati and Justin's down on Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. So a little bit of parity already. That's a good one. All right. Well, are you looking at changing your pick now that you've seen
No.
us both take the Raiders? Okay, I figured.
Nope. No, I was thinking of Cincinnati. I know they're young, and they might, you know, be a little bit overwhelmed with the playoffs, but I just think the matchups really favor Cincinnati. So that's
Yeah.
why.
Well, they're very good. If Chase and Higgins can have big games like they're capable of, and I love Mixon, that running back of theirs is fantastic. So yeah, we'll see. It'll be a good game, I think.
Next, I think missed the last game with COVID, but I think he's back.
Yeah, he'll be playing.
Next game is, and that's a Saturday game, New England at Buffalo Bills, the late Saturday game.
Okay. Well, by now you guys should know me. I don't pay attention to the Patriots much. I don't like them. I don't like the games they play. I think Harris, he's probably going to have a good game, but I think that's all the Patriots have going for them offensively, honestly, in this game, because Buffalo has the #1 pass defense in the NFL, and their secondary is incredible. Mac Jones, he's done great, but he's a rookie, and this is the #1 pass defense in the NFL. And I think New England's going to fall behind in this game. I think Buffalo's going to score first and maybe even second. And I don't see New England catching up. So I'm picking Buffalo.
The last couple of weeks, Buffalo has gone out of their way to establish a running game with Singletary, and they've done a pretty nice job of it. I think that'll be important because it's going to be super cold in Buffalo. They're talking about single digits and maybe wind chills below 0. That's like an extra defensive player, especially against passing teams. And Mac Jones seems like he's hit a wall last 5 weeks. You know, they got 13, 14 college games, and then all of a sudden he's about his 20th game or so. And I kind of think he's kind of hit a wall. He's had a great year for a rookie, but the one thing that worries me is the physicality of New England and Buffalo. I don't think Buffalo is a whole lot more physical than they were last year. And lately, their front defense has been a little bit undisciplined. So that does worry me, but I do believe Josh Allen has been hot, and he's going to stay hot, and Mac Jones is not going to be able to keep up. I'm picking Buffalo. Okay, next game is New England at Buffalo, the rubber match.
The three-peat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you always love those in the playoff. You always get one where it's the third time teams play, it seems like. I just haven't seen enough from New England. I've been kind of bullish on them this year that they'll figure it out. And I don't know that they're going to figure it out against Buffalo this time. I know the weather's going to be bad again, which probably favors them.
It's windy like that one game, but it's supposed to be very, very cold.
Yeah, it'll just be very, very cold.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had seen too. And these guys live in Buffalo. They kind of should be used to playing in cold weather games. Maybe not gale force winds, but if you can't play in the cold and you're from Buffalo or you play for the Bills, you're going to have problems. I'll take the Bills here. I don't like to pick against Belichick, but I just haven't seen enough from Mac Jones recently to have him over the Bills.
Yeah, I sort of think he might have hit a wall about 4 or 5 weeks ago. All right, we are all on Buffalo. Next game is the Philadelphia Eagles, the first Sunday game at Tampa Bay.
Well, it's been a fantastic season for the Eagles. I think they've exceeded. However, in some areas, the Eagles have underperformed the expectations, and that's particularly defensively. I think their pass rush has fallen off, and this is not a good time for that to be a thing because Tampa Bay has an excellent offensive line. And their pass defense, I think, is very vulnerable against Tom Brady's play style. And Evans and Gronkowski, I think, are going to have a great game. Brady's going to have time to throw all day, so he's going to pick them apart. I think Tampa Bay is just going to outscore Philly. Philly's going to do a good job running the ball as they have all year. Even though Tampa Bay has a great rush defense, but we've seen this story before, and I think it continues. This is the Tom Brady show. I don't like saying it, but that's what it is.
You said it. I got you down for Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
Well, they played in week 4, and the Eagles lost 22-28, but that was early on. That was before the Eagles were really establishing that elite running game that they've got. And Tampa Bay is a little bit banged up. As you know, Goodwin's out. They lost Antonio Brown. Evans, I think Evans is playing, but I don't think he's 100%. But again, Tom Brady is Tom Brady, and Gronkowski's there. So I look for Gronkowski to have a big game. There's a couple of teams in this playoffs I can't see going to and winning the Super Bowl, and one of them is the Eagles. The other is Pittsburgh. So I think the game will be closer than most people anticipate. Ronald Jones is also out for Tampa Bay. But they're getting the other running back, and I keep forgetting his name. I know you just told me.
Leonard Fournette.
Fournette's coming back. But Tampa Bay's run defense is middle of the road. They're 16th in the league, so Philadelphia should get some success. So that's why I think it's going to be a close game. But I give Tom Brady the edge, and Tampa Bay, I believe, will win.
So I still can't believe. I mean, I know that Philly didn't really have anything to play for, but man, they played nobody in that game against Dallas.
It's that 19 of 22 starters.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was very clear they had the JV out there. But they gave them, I mean, they held up for a little while, and then Dallas, of course, just ran roughshod there at the end. Philly's a good team. They're scrappy. They've got weapons. Hurts is pretty good, but I'm gonna have a hard time picking against the experience. And Tampa getting David back will really kind of help that defense. And I do believe the Bucks should take this game. The Eagles, maybe they're a year away from a playoff win.
Or more.
Or more.
They did
Well,
not,
in the NFC East, they'll have a chance to make it.
they did not beat any winning teams this year, and I have trouble believing that the first winning team they beat is going to be in the playoffs. So we were all on Tampa Bay. That brings up the San Francisco-Dallas game. That's going to be hard to pick.
Yes. That Dallas passing attack is a monster.
And down the field too, they're not usually dealing with little five-yard passes.
Yeah, and I think San Francisco's defense, their secondary is gonna give up plenty of those plays. However, their pass rush has been picking up steam recently. The Bosa and Armstead duo, they are a force to be reckoned with. Now, Dallas does have a great line. I think what people aren't seeing coming, though, is San Francisco's offense has been coming on sneakily good lately. I saw a stat that shocked me, and that is that Jimmy Garoppolo has the highest yards per completion this year. And for all the glamour of that Dallas defense, they're prone to big plays as well. And I think Deebo Samuel is probably enough by himself to match Dallas's big playability.
Well, Ayuk and Kittle are nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, I think and Mitchell, I think San Francisco brings a better running game. I don't think Ezekiel Elliott is going to be able to run on San Francisco's run defense very well. Warner is a great linebacker. And Pollard's probably not 100%. I think San Francisco's offense is more well-balanced for this game. This is really a tough pick, but another stat that I saw that is kind of leaning me towards who I've picked is Dallas commits a lot of penalties on both sides of the ball. They're actually one of the worst in the league, in the entire NFL. And I think with that, because of how close I kind of see how the teams are related to each other, you know, they both have great passing attacks and vulnerable secondaries and great pass rushes. It's just so close. I think the penalties tip the balance, and I'm going to pick San Francisco to win.
This game for me is a trip down memory lane. All those battles between Dallas and San Francisco in the playoffs in the past, especially the Joe Montana to Dwight Clark touchdown catch in the end zone in the NFC Championship game. I actually have a good friend that I worked with, who was at that game in person and in the end zone where that play happened. He said he was about five rows up from Dwight Clark when he made that catch. San Francisco's wide receivers and pass game, I think, matches the Dallas Cowboys. But the big difference I see in this game are the defensive and offensive lines for San Francisco and Dallas. Dallas's defensive line gave up a lot of rush yards in their last game against the Eagles, and the Eagles were playing their backups.
Yeah.
And these guys aren't backup players.
No.
San Francisco is going to be coming out, and San Francisco is a unique offensive team. They're not like other NFL teams, so they're kind of hard to prepare for. Yeah, I think it's going to be one and done for the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going home. I'm picking San Francisco.
I like both of these teams for very different reasons. I think that Dallas, with that pass rush and what Diggs brings as far as forcing turnovers, should be able to hold down a very frisky Niners offense that weirdly doesn't need Jimmy Garoppolo to make plays in order to win. It's all kind of on Deebo Samuel. He's a phenomenal player, but I don't think they're getting enough from other places to beat a more complete Dallas team.
So you got Dallas?
I've got Dallas.
Okay, Justin and I picked San Francisco. San Francisco's defense has been playing really well since week 14. Week 14 through 18, they've not given up more than 300 yards to their opponent. And
Sure.
Dallas was kind of discouraging how Philadelphia ran the ball with their backups against the Cowboys. So San Francisco, I think, is going to be too physical for Dallas. They have a hard running game to defend against, and they're kind of a unique team, and that makes it also hard to prepare for. That's the reason why I picked San Francisco.
Yeah, I just like if Dallas gets out to an early lead, it's hard to catch them when you're playing from behind on them. But you make a good point. I mean, Elijah Mitchell has been good. It just between I have a hard time picking Jimmy Garoppolo right here. That just is gonna give me fits.
He's got more.
I think he's still pretty injured.
He's injured, but he does have more playoff experience than Dak does.
Mm-hmm.
Next game is the Pittsburgh Steelers at Kansas City.
All right. I can't wait for this one. However, watch out, Kansas City. This might be a little too close for comfort.
Now, we thought if we throw 2 interceptions, get sacked a couple times, Pittsburgh's right in the game.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, Ben Roethlisberger's only chance at having any kind of a passing game is just throwing it up and letting his receiver win, like down the sideline or something. And that's sort of the Chiefs' defense's weakness lately. And they're going to take a couple of those shots. So that's going to be a big couple of plays to watch out for to kind of tell how this game is going to go. However, let's be real, the Kansas City offense, if they take care of the ball, if this is a turnover-free game and the referees aren't completely for Pittsburgh, if this is a normal game, Kansas City is going to win this probably 9 times out of 10. Kansas City has been sort of inconsistent on defense, but I think our defensive players are going to step up this week. We only really need to focus in on stopping Harris, and for the most part, I think our defensive approach will be good enough to stop Roethlisberger and the Steelers. We're going to need good low tackling. We're going to need to get our fundamentals together here in this game. We got to keep our hands away from these dangerous areas where referees just throw flags because they saw a hand in a particular spot. And I think that's going to be a big thing that we're going to work on in practice. Offensively, I think Travis Kelce and Byron Pringle are going to have good games. To point out a couple of specifics, so I'm picking Kansas City to win.
Yeah, you hit on what I think is the key. Also, our tackling 2 games ago was atrocious. And in the first half last week, our tackling was not very good. Second half, the tackling was good. If we go out there and we're not tackling Najee Harris, and the tackling in general is poor, we're going to be in for a long day. We have got to tackle. I see a lot of little short passes coming from Roethlisberger. He tries to get the ball off his hands quick because we'll be able to put pressure on him. So I don't see a lot of deep throws. There will be a couple of hope patterns down the sidelines. But I think by and large, Pittsburgh's not going to be able to do that. The Steelers were surprised to get in the playoffs. They lost 36-10 the last time we played, not too many weeks ago. And
Yeah.
I see Kansas City scoring and celebrating in this game, and Pittsburgh going home. I'm picking Kansas City. Next game is Pittsburgh and Kansas City.
Well, it sounds like Ben Roethlisberger wants to have fun in this game, and I don't really see too many ways for him to have a good time with this one, unless we zero blitz and forget to cover one-on-one matchups on the outside on every key down, which we might do. We've been prone to do that in the past, even when receivers are racking up over 200 yards on us. So I have the Chiefs. I think that they're going to take care of business against a Steelers team that was pretty lucky to get here.
Yeah, last time we played Pittsburgh was, I think, 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, T.J. Watt was really hurting with his ribs, and he did nothing against us. Did he get 1 sack?
He did, but he really didn't play very much.
Yeah,
you could tell he was gassed.
Since then, he has been playing, and he got 4 sacks, and he got 1 last week, which puts him in tie for all-time high for
22 and a half.
Yeah, 22 and a half. I was kind of hoping he could get that next 1 more sack.
I wanted him to beat that record. That would have been great.
Yeah. But he didn't get it. I can see if Kansas City, throws a couple of interceptions, has, a few sacks. T.J. Watt makes a big impression on the game, where it could be a tough game, but probably it won't be a tough game. I think it'll be okay. Now, the last game, I think, is the game of the playoffs. That's the Arizona Cardinals at the Los Angeles Rams at SoFi Stadium.
I agree. This game is amazing. There is so much talent on both teams, and it's talent that a lot of people like. Like everyone, well, not a lot of people like Tom Brady and Gronkowski, but these people have great players that are fun to watch. I mean, Christian Kirk is an incredible receiver, makes incredible catches. James Conner is a great running back, and he's a great pass catcher as well. I think Edmonds is a great running back, and Kyler Murray, he's a great quarterback. He's, again, I'll say it again, he's too short, but he plays as best he can, and it's fun to watch. And then the Rams, people like Aaron Donald, people like Cooper Kupp, people love Matt Stafford.
Von Miller.
Yeah. I think Arizona is gonna find more big plays in this game. I've been disappointed in the Rams defense recently. And now it could be that they took their foot off the gas a little bit as the season was winding down, because they kind of knew that they were going to make it. But I'm not very impressed with their one-score win over the Vikings and 1-point win over the Ravens. And let's see. However, those things being said, that's kind of all the positives going in Arizona's favor. I mean, there's probably some I haven't touched on, but I think
J.J. Watt's coming back. We haven't mentioned that yet.
Oh yeah. I think there's bigger positives going towards the Rams' favor, and that's why I'm going to pick the Rams to win this game. I think Arizona's offensive line is in big trouble. They're going to have issues for sure, like guaranteed. I think there's going to be 2 costly turnovers that go into the Rams' favor. And Matt Stafford, this is what his entire career has been waiting for. He's going to come out and play his absolute best. And he can make incredible throws. I mean, look what he did with Calvin Johnson and now what he's doing with Cooper Kupp. And Sony Michel's an underrated running back, so I think the Rams can spread the ball around pretty well. And I think they'll be hard to prepare for. Plus, Van Jefferson is very, very fast, and he's an excellent option in the passing game. So that's kind of my thinking, and that's why I'm picking the Rams.
The Rams have been playing better lately than Arizona. Over the last half of the season, Arizona has kind of reverted to mediocrity. They've had a couple good games, but Kyler Murray has not really been all that special in the last half, not like he was in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And I do see Von Miller getting more involved for Los Angeles. I think, like you said, the offensive line for Arizona is going to be really challenged in this game. One thing that worries me from the Rams standpoint is that they're 2-5 against playoff teams, and Arizona is 5-2 against playoff teams.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a worry. But Sean McVay, the Rams coach, is 5-1 when he's played games against Cliff Kingsbury. That kind of offsets that a little bit. Rams secondary is a little banged up, and that scares me a great deal. But I'm going to go with McVay's mastery over the other coach, Cliff Kingsbury, and the fact that the Rams have been playing better lately than Arizona's been playing. So I'm picking the Rams. All right, the last game, Justin and I thought was the best game that we're looking forward to is Arizona and Los Angeles.
These teams seem to be struggling in the same areas, and they're excelling in kind of similar areas too.
We're similar teams, actually. Really, we are.
Yeah, they're built very. It's a toss-up game for me. I really don't. I don't love everything that I'm seeing. The Cardinals seem to be really in a tough spot where Kingsbury's got a lot of questions to answer if he doesn't win this game next year. He's going to have to coach a more complete season. I think McVay is going to have this unit ready. I think that just having Aaron Donald in the middle of that defense is a huge advantage, and he should be able to get stops on a pretty bad running game, in my opinion. Other than when Kyler gets out on the outside, I expect Stafford to have just a little bit more than Murray in this game, even though he's never won a playoff game. So tough pick, but I think I'll go with what I kind of started out with in the beginning of the year, that the Rams would go pretty far in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you at the beginning of the year. I thought a lot of the Chargers and the Rams. No, I don't know the Chargers anymore.
No.
But the Rams, I still think, are going to win more than one playoff game, including this one.
Yeah.
we were all down on the Rams. Kingsbury's only 1-5 against Sean McVay, but it should be close, and it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Another three-peat, right? Yeah. 2 3-peats.
So how we do on our? We didn't do great on the college picks.
No, we did not.
Maybe we won't go there.
Yeah, we might not need to review those. The viewers can go back and laugh at us.
I picked Alabama, and I got the 2021 cards for game-winning drive football game, and I looked at the 2 cards, and holy cow! I looked at Georgia's card, I looked at Alabama's. And I said, Georgia's not going to lose this game.
Yeah.
And actually, I played it out for the channel, and Georgia won by 15 points on my game, and they won by 16 in the road.
Oh, yeah. So you were right on point. I mean, I just don't think losing the 2 best receivers on Alabama, which I didn't expect completely, and being short their 2 starting defensive backs was pretty tough. But man, Georgia was so fast and physical. I really thought that Alabama's offensive line, they played great in that first matchup. They just didn't have it. Young was under pressure the whole game. He had to get the ball out in less than 2 seconds in order to just stay alive. I mean, they took his head off in that game.
Number 99, that big guy, the big defensive tackle, Jordan Davis. I think he showed that quite a lot. He can do some stuff.
Yeah. He'll make an impact on Sundays, that's for sure.
Yeah, he definitely will.
Yeah, there'll be a team and be happy to have him. But no, tough. We'll do better on college picks next year, hopefully. But man, when I was watching that Ole Miss Baylor game and Coral went out like first thing, I was like, oh, this is going to go well. Yeah, and then the Pitt game, the Pitt quarterback sat out.
Yep.
I don't like that.
I don't either. There was a lot of guys who sat out the college bowl games. There's too many bowl games as it is. But it was fun. It was a great college season.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And I mean, I was glad to see it. It really seemed like the right team won. And that meant the world to that quarterback for Georgia. Man, to his story, I didn't really know until after I read about it. And phenomenal as a walk-on. He had to transfer out, and then he had to come back and beat out a couple guys. And
yeah,
you could tell.
I didn't realize how small that guy is. He's only about 5'10".
But the interesting thing for next season, have you seen the transfer portal?
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
It's like nationwide free agency. Yeah, what's Oklahoma's team going to look like? I mean, it's like
they're not going to have anybody. They left. They all left. Well, I mean, they're saying they might come back if Venables can prove that they're,
I think they got a chance, but I don't know. We'll see.
He might take everybody to USC with him. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
thanks for being with us.
Yeah,
it's been a great year. We're not done yet. We'll be back with next week's playoff picks, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun as always. Great to be in the playoffs.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I can't wait. The playoffs are just about here. Saturday they're going, and we'll be watching for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited. This could very well be a rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago.
Yeah, it could be. If the Chiefs make it, who would you like to play?
I think I'm with everyone that wants to see the Green Bay Packers play the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think the Packers have. I know Aaron Rodgers is amazing, but the supporting cast is good too. But they've been playing in a fairly weak division,
Mm-hmm.
and they've had a lot of wins against weak teams. I think the Chiefs have generally had a much stronger division and stronger schedule. And of course, everybody says, when we beat the Packers the first time, the Chiefs, by the way, are 5-3 against playoff teams. But when we beat the Packers earlier, of course, they were doing Rodgers was not playing. But I could see us beating Green Bay better than I could see us beating some of those other teams. The Rams really
I
scare me.
agree.
The Rams scare me a lot. And San Francisco kind of scares me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have the edge over Green Bay and Tampa
Tampa
Bay.
right now, I think, is too beat up to repeat. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to repeat.
Hmm.
So, yep. I think we're on the same page there.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
Will
Bye
do.
bye.
Take care.